Coming to you live from the Stack Shack behind Cordage Park. Please welcome dive instructor Greg Simoneau.
Them man never been ready for the chaos. I stay ready, never take day off. Train for the action, it's payoff. Deliver that straight, no mailbox. First class talker, top tier walker. Back in my chat. These dark roads are
Awesome. Oh, thanks. Thanks to the local scene for putting up with me. Thanks to Dan in the booth. All right. Everyone here at the Stack Shack. The Stack used to be right over there. Yeah. Good times. All right. Let's get it now. Have you ever been driving and seen an attractive person driving the other way and they catch your eye? You can only see a small part of them, but still you think, that was an attractive person. That person was a bombshell. That person was a smoke show. Why do I only get a glimpse? How come they're not stuck with me on a deserted island, you know? How come they're not my jail psychiatrist? Wow. How come when I was younger, they weren't the topic of my book report? I'll tell you why. Because Florence Pugh can drive a car. Which, surprisingly, is the name of this comedy album. Greg Simoneau, Florence Pugh can drive a car. I can see the album cover artwork, you know. It's my head holding a toy car with a little Florence Pugh inside it. In the back of the album is Florence Pugh dressed as a jail psychiatrist. And then also, it's like scattered art. You know, there's also her as a beach goddess on a deserted island. And then another picture of a book report on Florence Pugh, written by a 5th grader on the bottom right. Just like that, rounds it out. Now imagine a movie star actress. Think of one of your favorites. Julia Roberts, Drew Barrymore, Kate Hudson, Reese Witherspoon, something like that. And imagine you're watching them in a movie. And the movie starts off innocent enough. They're outside. They're on a bright, sunny day, getting some errands done. Everyone in the small town loves them. You know, hi, Mr. Hooper. Hi, Claire. They always have a different name than the character they're playing. You ever notice that? They never say, hi, Reese, and it's Reese Witherspoon. And it's a Reese Witherspoon movie. She never plays a character named Reese, you know? Except that time, her and her husband got busted for a DUI. Do you know who I am? But sometimes one of the fringe actors gets one line and they mess it up. You know what I mean? And the director leaves it in. They're just to be funny, so you gotta watch out for those. You have to watch the blooper reel for those. You always have to be on the lookout for these Easter eggs, they call them. But generally, this doesn't happen. Then they walk, a block further. Hey, Claire, are you coming by for the cafe for the usual? Yeah, I'll be right there. Smiles are exchanged. The sun is shining. People are filling the streets. Dog walkers, food trucks, A parade goes by. A guy selling balloons hands one to a child. All is going too good. Then she bumps into Mr. Right, and their chance meeting leads to a hijinks-filled romantic comedy. But I propose we make a film about the town leading up to that. She never bumps into the guy. She goes to the cafe and drinks and chats, and the townspeople love on her and Pleasantville her for the next 120 minutes. It's just 120 minutes of, hey, hi, ha 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 ha. 120 minutes of sunshine and happy tunes. And every 5 or 10 minutes or so, a different balloon vendor hands a child a different balloon. Different colored balloons for all different ethnicities. And nothing upsetting or conflicting happens. And you might say, Greg, we have that. We call them reality shows. Yes, my answer is yes. Reality shows are great. But this is entirely scripted. The script is, hey, hi, ha 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 ha, repeat. Give a balloon to a child, repeat. You might say, that sounds boring. I took Movie Theory 101 in college, and you need bumps in the road, conflict, catalysts, protagonists. Nope, none of that. It's our favorite female movie star going through the fun small town that opens every rom-com and conflict never strikes. And the movie is entitled simply, Florence Pugh Can Drive a Car. I can see the movie poster now. Blue skies, pink paint, flowers galore, a shiny red four-door sedan with Florence Pugh at the helm, waving out the window to like 5 B-reel actors. The sort of actors you recognize from guest starring on that TV series you used to like. That kind of level. With a couple reviews in the clouds, simple ones, like smash hit, genius, Hollywood Reporter. Also, we hire like 1,000 movie extras, 100 featured extras, and everyone has the time of their lives making it. Directed by Greta Gerwig. Funtastic E-Online review. Rotten Apples gives it a 66%. Which is pretty good. People will be intrigued by the trailer and will just have to go and see it. The trailer will be scenes of Florence Pugh shooting a gun, stabbing a dude, a detective smoking while looking at a dead body. A person getting pushed off a cliff. An alien invasion and a whole parade of people getting vaporized by alien laser guns. A volcano erupting and destroying an island. But all of these scenes will be explained away 5 minutes in as, oh yeah, I've been in many films, but I love my small town. Then a second trailer will have Florence Pugh driving fast and furiously through a crowded city, pulling off wild maneuvers. She's Tokyo drifting, We steal some moves from Baby Driver and The Italian Job. And then, like an action movie, bam, the title hits you. Florence Pugh Can Drive a Car. Yes, awesome. And all that is in the movie. But in the movie, the director yells, cut. Great job today, Miss Pugh. And then she goes on her way and grabs that seat at the corner cafe. And some reviews online say, I was bamboozled, but I ended up liking it. Oh, good times, good times. So switching gears a little bit. Sometimes when an ad comes on, and you're watching Hulu or something, it says ad in the corner. But I think sometimes it should say show in the corner, because when a show comes on, it's like, really? This is a show? I mean, you should have to write show on this. Some pieces are just not good. Now they have Brian Cox, the Scottish actor, doing McDonald's commercials. And we didn't have, Sean Connery when we were kids, but now we could use him. Reprise his role from Red October. And after I eat McDonald's and I'm home sitting on the toilet, he could say, "Unleash the underwater missiles." It's a poop joke. I don't know. Thanks. Commercials interrupt everything, and I think, what's next? Somehow weave them into our private conversations? Maybe they'll activate the so-called computer chip that was maybe included unwillingly in our COVID vaccine shots? And that they can program untimely words to come out of our mouths in the form of the most popular radio and TV advertisements? It seems like it's already about to begin. Imagine being out on a date night and your mouth just starts going on its own. Tonight's meal is brought to you by Olive Garden. When you're here, your family. Okay. Innocent enough, except we're at Applebee's. Very funny, Elon Musk. Then they'll move into more private, intimate settings, Even your sex will be interrupted by commercials. This sex brought to you by Trojan Condoms, for her pleasure and yours. Not in the middle. And then they'll add a little lawyer disclaimer. Trojan condoms cannot guarantee a baby will not come from this lovemaking. Okay, I'm not in the mood anymore. Even your drug sessions will be interrupted by commercials. And that's a very narc way of saying when you're doing drugs with friends, acquaintances, I don't know. Like you'll be doing cocaine, and all of a sudden, today's cocaine brought to you by Real Coke. Real original Coca-Cola formula, now in special exciting new cans. Hey man, are you wearing a wire? Even funerals. Today's funeral brought to you by Edible Arrangements, for those times when you want to send flowers, but you also want to eat fruit. Oh. That's how he died. He choked on an edible arrangement. You see, the toothpick is still stuck in his neck. They'll even interrupt my birthdays, like my 50th birthday, like a few years from now. Happy 50th birthday. You're going to want to start taking testosterone. Listen to what Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, has to say. Oh, yeah, and she's going to like it in the bedroom, too. Oh, yeah, and you're going to want Viagra, too. Just click on Viagra, 82 cents a pill, and click on 100 pills. Click on the QR code you see on my forehead for a limited time offer. Then you'll be on vacation, You'll walk in. Oh, this place is great. But then they'll even start to change your voice, It'll be like Southern. Are you the victim of a timeshare Ponzi scheme? Well, I'm Chuck, and I'm going to get you out of this timeshare. Wait, honey, is this vacation scamming us? If you agreed to a timeshare, then that's like giving them a blank check for fees and maintenance. Oh, no. I'm leaving. I can't enjoy a vacation I know we're getting scammed on. They'll even interrupt weddings, you know? Have your next wedding at Pine Hills, right here in the beautiful Plymouth for a luxurious wedding event space. Now back to the best man speech. Oh, sorry. Like I was saying, I love you guys both so much, and I wish you nothing but happiness. Pine Hills does not endorse this wedding or make any guarantees on its longevity. Sorry, this is a damn computer chip. Then sometimes when you're supposed to be quiet, it just comes on like in church. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Come down to the DCU Center for the Monster Truck Rally. Tickets still only $15. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Peace be with you. Come on and see Bigfoot smash a bunch of cars. And today's collection plate will be going to help fix the priest's car, the one car that all 5 of them share. Thank you, Plymouth. Thanks, it's been great. Have a good night. From the Stack Shack. All right, give yourselves a round of applause for coming out to the Stack Shack tonight. Are you still jacked from the public access show you just watched? Well, thanks for watching. But here are some notes I had on that routine that I don't know. Maybe I'd like to like to go over. Here's a note here. You just watched the Greg Simoneau Show. Now what? What I'm trying to say with Florence Pugh can drive a car, or FPCDAC, is that it's not crazy to think that celebs drive. That's what I'm really trying to say. Another part that I might want to edit is, in the trailer it says that there's a detective smoking, looking at a dead body. I think maybe it's going to be Florence Pugh as the detective. Yeah, that makes sense, right? And she's like in a trench coat. Yes, it's just an idea. Yeah, it's just an idea. Here's just this little bit that didn't make it in, but when I die, there's going to be a flash mob at my funeral, okay? And I'll be dead, and then all of a sudden one guy's just going to be starting like, beat it, dun, beat it. And then maybe, then maybe that will go into like, don't cry for me, Argentina. I don't know the rest of those words. And that was written by my boss, Pam. It's good. It's good. One other note I had on this was, sometimes you'll be scrolling Netflix and you'll see a comedian and you'll be like, oh, wow, here's Joe Schmo and the title of his Netflix special is Oh Boy, And then when you watch the Netflix special, he only says like, oh boy, once, So when you watch this album, this Greg Simoneau special, you get to hear Florence Pugh can drive a car at least 3 times. On his, it might just be like, oh, let's talk about dating. Oh boy. And that's his whole album, title. I don't know. I just think if you're going to title something, use it, Oh, here's a note here. My mom and dad, or any older crowd, might not know who Florence Pugh is, even though she's taken Hollywood by storm. You might not know. Okay. You could Google her. But here's an idea for my mom and dad. Just think of Florence Nightingale instead, And Florence Nightingale is not a movie star. She was my Graham's friend, and she kind of looked like an old-timey vampire. So Florence Pugh is like 100 million times hotter than Florence Nightingale, but I think it works. Florence Nightingale used to have Wolverine hair, Like, like Wolverine, like the, Wolverine versus Deadpool. Like she had Wolverine hair, and here, and here. Now, sadly, Florence Nightingale has passed on. Okay, so I know she's up in heaven and says like, my name hasn't been muttered by human lips in 64 years, and I was alive for 20 of those. Which is really weird. And then, I was talking about this thing where like maybe they can control what we say and like it'll come out, they can control our voice. And I would do that. I would do it if every month money landed in my account. You know what I mean? I would just randomly say like mobile gas. When it's got to be gas, it's got to be mobile. I just randomly say it as long as every month in my bank account some money appeared magically. I would do it. I would sell my voice. There's also that part about the Trojan condoms in there. There's one note I wanted, that the Trojan condoms for life's biggest mistakes, It's just something we can think about. And this was what I was going to ask Dan to do, but like maybe in post, like put a QR graphic on my forehead. If we could get like a zoom in on the forehead. It's right there, Dan. Just put the graphic right there. And I know my parents, they probably would scan the TV, So don't do that, Mom. Don't be scanning any QR codes you see on TV. I also didn't like the part where I said townspeople love on her. I don't like that, I'm sure that, they love to have Reese Witherspoon living in their fictional Pleasantville, but I just don't like the term love on her. People use that a lot, so I just don't like it. You know what else I could have used was some more Sean Connery quotes, That was the only one that came to mind, but I could have looked some up and been like, well, that's appropriate for pooping, Also this part, like one little part that didn't make it in was like maybe the wife at church goes, honey, I said we could go if you could just make it through church. We could go see the monster truck rally after. It's just a note. Just some notes. Also, this is one note I had, like, this movie is going to be Florence Pugh's Barbie, right? Except not as big as Barbie, and it's not going to have, like, a good message like Barbie, but it's her Barbie, This is an art project. And instead of Ryan Gosling, we can't afford him, we're going to get Ryan Guzling. Ryan, Guzzling. Also in the monster truck part where, I only know the monster truck Bigfoot. So I think that limited the joke a little bit. I'm sure there's other monster trucks. I could have looked them up, I think. That would have been good. Also another part where her, like, driving Italian Job trailer is all explained, by the director, saying, great job today, Mrs. Pugh. I thought he could have said, great job today, Pew Bear. No? Funny? Is that funny? Maybe. I think so. The Florence Nightingale, we did that, yeah. This is the part where they were doing cocaine, and the guy goes, "Are you wearing a wire?" I also thought, maybe just this is too far, but maybe throw in you jive turkey, and then all of a sudden the guy goes, "Brought to you by Butterball Turkeys." Some things that need to be edited, but sometimes you like to hear what else could have happened. Sometimes you like to hear that. I don't know. This is another part I thought was funny. So Reese Witherspoon never plays herself, except that time her and her husband got busted for a DUI. Do you know who I am? I'm Reese Witherspoon. Legally blonde. And the cop goes, yeah, ma'am, you're legally drunk. Okay. No? Little bit? It's dumb. I know, it's dumb. No, okay. Another thing is Frank Thomas. Okay, he does those testosterone commercials, right? And it's listen to this message from the Big Hurt. And I think, he's always like, hey, in the bedroom, huh? In the bedroom. I think he should also have the Big Hurt personal massagers. I think that's his next line. Sort of like the George Foreman grill. It's kind of gross. I don't know. Oh, here's another part I thought. When they're like, hey, Claire, hey, how's it going? You coming by the cafe? So she goes into the cafe and she's like, hey, Claire, hi, Claire. And then she looks down and goes, hi, Claire. Because she's got like an Claire in front of her. It's dumb, huh? Pretty funny, though. Still good. Also, I thought maybe we do this movie and, half of it is not even in focus. It's just blurry. That'd be weird, right? It's something to have on in the background while you're wrapping presents at Christmas time. I don't know. Another part is, what if we actually get real Florence Pugh, right? But we have her covered in a full body cast, the whole time. She's driving in a full body cast. It's funny. You can't even make out like her face. It's just, but it's Florence Pugh. Yeah? Are we thinking Oscar? We can only get a little bit of time left here, but that Southern guy, he comes on. Well, I'm Chuck, and he in his commercial he says he invented the timeshare dissolution intrusion purification process, and like I know that some people might trust him because of his accent, but I am totally out on him. Also, the part where I said smash hit that had no title, that's from the New York Times, hypothetically. Okay, we got to get out of here soon. But I want you to catch me in the new movie, Florence Pugh Can Drive a Car, and playing Mr. Hooper is Kingston's own, we got him again, Chris Cooper. Playing Mr. Hooper. It could work. I'm going to play the homeless prophet number 3. I have some wise sage advice. And the beautiful Florence Pugh is going to be played by, you guessed it, Cameron Diaz. No, just kidding. Sounds like a home run. I think you're right, Dan. Good night. Thank you.
We about to cause a scene. There's nothing like you've seen. Everything ain't what it seems. Whoa, 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 whoa. Them man never been ready for the chaos. I stay ready, never take